So just over a month ago now, Mooer sent me their Mooer GE300. That's Synth Engine, amp modeler and effects processor. I've had a bit of time to use it in the studio, live for gigs, as well as taking it away to see how durable it is, and I'm going to let you know what I think about the pedal. So stick with me for the rest of the video if you want to learn about my favourite features of the pedal, Mooer's NAMM releases, and the price point of this pedal and how it compares against other amp modelers in this category. So since the release of the GE300, Mooer has actually just released the GE300 Lite and the GE250. Now you can find more about these at the accompanying blog for this review at insideaudio.net. So the I/O of the GE300 is pretty impressive. We've got the USB, which allows us to connect to the software on the computer. We've got a XLR out, which also has a ground lift option for PA system use. Headphone, effects loop. We've also got another expression pedal option as well as our guitar/line in. Now learning the functionality of the pedal is actually really simple. We have these toggle switches here which allow us to bank up between presets. Presets are along the bottom between A to D, and if we select a preset, we then get the Stomp box options above. Now we can see exactly what's in a preset if we click display, and above here we can see that control 1 is tuner, 2 is looper, and the others are currently nothing, but I can set them if I want to make my own custom preset, and I can turn them off during gigs. So I can have a delay on, but I could then turn the delay off, and I could have reverb or overdrive and turn it off depending on what I'm after. So in total, the GE300 can host 256 presets, and it comes with 140 straight out the box. If you want access to certain features like the tuner, all you have to do is hold A and B down the bottom. And if you want access to the 30-second looper, all you have to do is hold down C and D at the bottom. But the tuner and looper can both be configured to different foot switches depending on what your preference is. So wrapping up our layout, I/O and functionality section, we also have the Mooer pedal at the end here, which controls expression, volume and wah. Now from my viewpoint, the GE300 has 6 main features. There's the tone capture, and the tone capture is similar to, say, a Kemper profiler, but it does have some unique features. For example, you can capture the sound of a Target guitar and play a Telecaster while you're actually playing, say, a Stratocaster. So this means that you have to bring less guitars to a gig, less guitars to a studio session, because you've targeted the guitar you want, and then you have your source guitar, and basically it means that you only have to use one guitar in order to play many different types of guitar. This is a really neat feature that no other profilers are currently doing. As well as this, you can capture impulse responses of your cabinet, your amp, as well as even Stomp boxes. So if you have a favorite pedal, you can actually bring that pedal into the GE300 engine. The GE300 has 108 amp simulators built in. This is Vox, Fender, Mesa, Marshall, and they're all just selectable here on the select knob. Now if you press the button in and head down, you can actually pick what type of tubes are being used in the amp, which really impacts the tone. And this is great if you're using it in a studio application where you want to have a lot of different options for tonal capabilities. If we head over the cabs, there's 43 different cab impulse responses, and you can also pick the mic placement of the cab. So just like the valves in the head, on the cab we can pick the mic as well as the mic placement. So as you can see here, I've got an SM57, but I could change this to an NT1 or a KM184. So these are really famous microphones that are world class when it comes to studio applications, and we can configure their distance and their axis polarity all from inside the engine. Again, you don't have to buy any of this stuff. It's all integrated into the amp and the cab features of the GE300. If that wasn't enough, you've got 164 Stomp box effects built into the engine. From modulation, reverb and delays, you won't have to buy any pedals as they're all integrated into the GE300. The looper pedal also has some really great features, so if you're wanting to put down a rhythm part and come up with some melodies or practice your improvising over the top, this is a really good unit for that. You can record and dub up to 30 seconds, you can reverse the sound, you can do it at half speed, and you can also come out of the looper and change to a different patch while the loop continues to play. One of the biggest innovations of the GE300 is the Synth Engine. Now what makes the Synth Engine so unique is you don't have to have a MIDI pickup in order to use your guitar to correspond with the engine. They've also included some really nice features in the Synth Engine, such as waveform selection and even arpeggiator speeds on the bottom right here. And finally, one of my favourite features is the desktop software, which allows you to modify and create your own presets while actually having to not even touch the GE300 device. This is really good, I've found, if you're working in a digital audio workstation environment, so you can quickly make changes and you don't have to get down and change stomp boxes and EQ and valves. You can just quickly do it in the software, corresponds back to the GE300 floor pedal, and before you know it, you've got a patch that's ready in minutes and ready to cater to different songs, different genres, different types of music, and it's really, really quick and fluid with the pedal. So in summary, who do I think this pedal's for? I think this pedal is for three different type of people. Number one, enthusiasts who are interested in pedals and amps, but without the cost of pedals and amps. I've spent a lot of money over the years on stomp box pedals, amps, amp heads, amp cabs, and while that's really interesting, you can pretty much do all of it in here with tons more options than you could ever afford if you were going to do this individually. Secondly, I think this is perfect for live players who want an all-in-one portability solution. There's no amp or cab required, you go straight into the PA system and you can turn up to a gig with literally this and your guitar. It means that when you leave the house and when you get home, you have literally nothing to unpack, but you have all the sounds you'll ever need and more tones than you could actually bring if you brought a proper cabinet and a proper pedal board. And lastly, studio guitarists. I use this all the time when trying to get a sound for a brief. So if you want to quickly dial in a preset with a different amp or a different cabinet, and you want to have a different valve option, or you want to quickly change the EQ, you want to have a different microphone, you want to change the placement of that microphone, you don't even have to leave your chair. You just have to pick your amp, pick the type of valve, then you can preset an EQ on the amp, then you go to your cabinet, you pick your microphone, you pick your distance, then any stomp boxes that you might want for certain effects, you can go through and pick them. And you've done this all on the software, so it's going to be so quick to link back to the GE300 pedal and record straight into your digital audio workstation, meaning that the workflow is so quick, you can get ideas down much quicker, and it's a really fluid way of working in a modern situation. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and we will get back to you. And big thanks to Mooer for sending this pedal, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.